You're listening to the Screaming Pods Network.
Drink beer. Think beer. You're listening to Brew Bloods.
Brew Bloods, episode 140. Back for two episodes in a row.
How about that?
I still can't talk from week to week.
2 episodes in a row. Well, we normally do episodes in a row, as far as the listener knows.
2 consecutive weeks.
They don't know we're recording them back to back.
That's a good point. 2 consecutive weeks in a row. We're back on the scene.
Way to pull the curtain all the way back.
That's right. I don't like curtains in my house. I prefer to be fully nude with all windows and our curtains pulled back.
Well, that's okay too, because you have like 40 acres of land back
That's
here.
That's true.
In the middle of Dallas, it has this huge spread.
I do.
It's tremendous.
I have a North 40, I have a South 40, I have a West 40, I have an East 40.
Yeah. That's a lot of 40s.
But I have a Northwest 60, which is really weird. It's a really weird piece of land.
You should sell off 20 of those just to make it even.
Yeah. And then I have a strange divot that's just cut out in the Southwest area.
Right.
It's like 1 acre that's cut out. It's really strange.
So it's like 39 over there?
Yeah, it's like 39.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take one of the acres from the 60 and put it over there. Get rid of the 19.
Just literally smash it on the owner's head. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just take it over.
So, yeah, we're back, and we're going to talk a little brews in the news again. Today, we're going to be talking about a story that I cannot find right now, and that is that George Washington hand-wrote a craft beer recipe, and now, of course, Budweiser wants to brew it. Or is brewing it, I should say.
Yeah, they are brewing it, and they are calling it Freedom Reserve Red Lager.
Freedom!
Yeah.
Freedom!
And, of course, all the profits go to provide educational scholarships to military families, Mark.
Of course.
So they have the protective shield of that.
And we thank them for their service.
So George Washington, apparently, when he was out on the battlefield, wrote a beer recipe, and they found it in one of his journals.
Now, is this when Martha was maintaining the marijuana crop? And
that's very possible.
Come home from the war, she would pack him a nice fat bowl?
That very well could be it. Yeah, marijuana was pretty rampant back then, too, which is kind of funny that everybody that defends the Constitution, Mr. Producer, they get all upset about stuff like marijuana. Yeah, they get upset about marijuana, but in any case...
Let freedom ring!
But yeah, he described his recipe as a small beer in his journal. A small beer which typically was of lower quality and lower alcohol, and it would have been ideal for brewing by soldiers, because soldiers are disgusting and petty, and they don't need good quality alcohol. They just need low alcohol and low quality alcohol.
Mark all that. Play that to start every Brew Blood show. He does not thank you for your service, soldiers.
Did you know he also brewed high-quality beers at Mount Vernon?
I did not know that.
I did not know that
That
either.
is an interesting little fun fact you just tossed my way.
That makes him even more awesome, right?
I caught it, and now I'm tucking it in my head for further useless knowledge.
But so you could actually try to mimic this if you want. It's actually out there in the public domain. Budweiser does not have exclusive rights to it, but they are going to exclusively manufacture it on a broad scale.
But they can't trademark the recipe, can they?
No, they can't, but I'm just assuming nobody else is doing it. That's what I mean.
They probably reserve the rights to the name Freedom Fuck Yeah to make it as a beer.
Well, Freedom Reserve Red Lager, you can't call it that. You can call it, Washington's Butthole Lager or something if you wanted to. Whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying, you can go out there and try it yourself if you're a home brewer who's ambitious.
Yeah.
You want to brew something that is, created by a founding father.
Yeah, if you want to make Martha's Moist Mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Whatever you want to call it, yeah. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. They found this, and they're going to, try to do a bit. Because this article also references the fact that Budweiser is trying to do more craft beer in general. I haven't seen that as much as they are just trying to acquire more craft beers. So I think CBS Market Watch may be a little off on that.
Although, you say that, but I can't remember the last time. It's been a while since we've heard about a big acquisition.
True. Yeah.
From Miller Coors or from Budweiser, from AB InBev.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's possible they've happened and we just haven't noticed. But since we're constantly monitoring the beer wires, I don't know. We haven't seen any. I feel like a significant acquisition in a long time.
Again, if you haven't listened to the show, it's like The Dark Knight. When he's monitoring all the cell phones.
Yep.
Mark is constantly monitoring beer news.
You're talking about
Batman.
Oh, they're talking about Val Kilmer.
No. That's not Dark Knight.
Oh, but wasn't he in all the Batman movies?
He was in one Batman movie. But so it might be kind of interesting to have an ages-old beer that, or a recipe that was created by George Washington. It might be worth trying. I don't know. I mean, it is mass-produced by Budweiser, so it might suck. It might be better to do it on your own. But, it's got some interesting components. It's got molasses.
It's got bran hops.
Yeah, bran hops, molasses, a 30-gallon tub, which is probably harder for the normal home brewer to use. I don't know, but still, it's not that difficult of an overall recipe. It's actually fairly simple. So I think maybe even Budweiser can get it correct.
So I think his recipe is interesting here. He's like, strain the beer on it while boiling hot. Let this stand until it's a little more than blood warm.
Yeah, I know.
I guess you have to have.
Well, there's so much blood on the battlefield. Maybe that's something to easily equivocate.
So you have to be sticking one finger in a soldier's bloody gash, and you have to be sticking another finger in your boiling wort to get the right temperature. Like, well, yeah, this feels like bloody gash. Yeah, I think it's ready to go.
Yeah. So you also have to get it very cold and cover it with a blanket. Let it work in the cooler 24 hours, then put it into the cask. What cooler is he referencing?
That's exactly my question.
Yeah.
What cooler? Did George Washington have future Egyptian technology? Like, was he given space age?
Did George Washington have a Yeti? Is that what we're finding out?
George Washington was the inventor of the Yeti. Maybe he had, Future Man came back in time and gave him the Yeti.
That'd be very interesting.
Maybe it's a fact. Maybe we just discovered a paradox in time here.
Yeah, maybe so.
That George Washington had the Yeti.
Maybe Bill and Ted brought it back to him.
But because what kind of cooler could George Washington? A hole in the ground?
That must have been what it was with snow. That's about it.
A ceramic pot that, you stuck in the snow on the side of Mount Vernon?
That's got to be what it is. I mean, what else could there be? Will you try this beer?
Absolutely. Of course.
Yeah.
It's history beer.
I think I might. I don't buy Budweiser, but I might try this. Even though it's a lager. Again,
why not? I mean,
we speak to this. We spoke to this in the previous episode. If it's a new version of a lager, I'll give it a try. See if it's any good.
Give any and all beer a try.
Yeah,
except just your standard issue Budweiser again.
Right.
If it's a new beer, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And there's every possibility that George Washington made a good beer and Budweiser by proxy by stealing the recipe, by stealing his intellectual property.
Zombie Washington should come back and assassinate anybody that did this.
Maybe Washington himself was a future man who came back with a Yeti just to make beer on the battlefield or the battlefield by cutting open soldiers and making beer by comparing their temps.
Maybe so.
It's a very weird scenario that we've just laid out, but I think it's entirely possible.
It's all wild speculation and probably not accurate, but it's possible.
Fact, or is it all based on fact?
It's impossible to know which one it is.
Budweiser said the offering will have a, quote, rich caramel malt taste and a smooth finish with a hint of molasses.
It should, based on the recipe.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we'll see if they actually achieve that.
I do wonder, will they be pouring their beer into Washington Yetis? Will they be cutting open soldiers on the battlefield to see if it's blood warm?
Will they use molasses or will they use adjuncts instead? Some kind of crappy off-brand something that they already have. I bet they use something that's molasses-like.
And if it's cold,
that's be my
if they're brewed in the winter, I mean, Washington does demand in this recipe that if the weather is very cold, cover it with a blanket. Will they have like 100-yard blanket woven by
all outside of St. Louis around the arch?
Yeah, maybe Martha Washington Jr. maybe made a giant blanket and they covered their their pot with a giant blanket. It's everything. This is all wild but factual speculation that we're tossing out.
I'm gonna guess they don't do any of that,
but we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I'm gonna guess. I said it's a guess. I didn't say it's a fact.
We don't know until we're proven otherwise.
Right.
I'm gonna say it's fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
Until say it's otherwise. So today, we're going to do another beer review. Something we haven't done since last week.
Yeah, long time ago.
We're going to be taking on a beer. We got a beer from a brewery in Britain. I think it's Britain. Hello. Home of Mrs. Doubtfire everywhere. This came from our old pal Stefan from the What's on Tap podcast. I drew a total blank.
We'll edit that maybe.
Stefan, Mike on the What's on Tap podcast. He sent us this through our friend Kit, who's been on our other show, The Break Room.
Yeah.
I had Kit smuggle back 6 to 7 bottles in his butt, along with the Christopher Walken watch.
He said that was perfectly fine. No problem.
Oh, yeah, until he got it through security.
Stefan's like, "Hey, can you take all this stuff back with you?"
They just took a trip to see Stefan.
Let me show that in your rectum real quick.
Denmark, and they went to Germany.
Yeah.
They went to Prague, and they came back to America with all this beer in Kit's butt. And one of these was...
Did they prog rock out, though?
Of course he did.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And
with bombers in his anus. That's interesting. Yeah.
He was carrying the heavy load. So we're going to be talking about, after this, the Wylam Midnight Train to Byker. Pine Hub. We're going to talk about Pine Hub, something they don't have in Europe yet. Maybe someday.
They might have an equivalent
coming very, very soon. But one thing we have in Dallas is Pine Hub, and with Pine Hub, you get to discover all kinds of new craft beers, depending on where venue you're at. But you get your first beer on the house every single day that you go. You get one beer with your...
One beer every 24 hours.
One beer every 24 hours. And who knows what you're going to find, what gold you're going to find in some new place. Like you might find in Slater's 50/50, which I haven't been to, but you said you're a big fan of.
Slater's 50/50. Great burgers. Half bacon, half beef. So if you enjoy that, definitely head over to Slater's. But they also have a great tap list as well. Free beer every 24 hours. You can sign up with us. Only cost you $1.
That's right.
And then after that, seven beers a week at the same location.
Right, you can keep going back to Slater's 50/50. You can get the other 50 of that 50/50.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Make it a beer. Get your first.
Yeah, you can have a full bacon burger. You can have a full regular burger. Then you can have the 50/50. And then
you have a beer burger.
Yeah, you can have a free beer every day.
That's right.
Every single day.
So many burgers, so many beers.
Yeah.
You can get that at Slater's 50/50 by using the Pine Hub app. It is the easiest way to explore new craft beer. All you have to do is open the app, find your location on
Download
the map. Open the app, find a location
Sign
on
up.
the map,
Yep.
and then get a beer from the tap.
Yes.
When you get to your venue, just pull up the app, select your beer, show your server, and you get a beer in your mouth very, very quickly.
Use the promo code BrewBloods. Don't forget about that.
That's right. When you sign up, use BrewBloods.
Yes.
That's one word, BrewBloods, and you get your beer.
That is how you get the $1. Yes.
That's right. Get your first beer in the house every single day. Right now, it's only available at participating breweries, restaurants, and breweries in DFW, but new cities are coming very, very soon. Download the app on the Apple App Store or Google Play, and when you
from the App Store.
whatever.
Yeah.
On, from, when, how.
Yeah, or the Google App Store, either one. Yes.
Whatever. When you sign up, use the promo code BrewBloods and get your very first month for $1.
They're not on BlackBerry, right?
Nobody's on BlackBerry.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. That shows how progressive Pine Hub is, not being on BlackBerry.
So as soon as Stefan Mike from the What's on Tap podcast, now that I remember it, as soon as he shoved this beer in Kit's anus,
Yep.
it was the first beer shoved in Kit's anus.
Yeah.
So he then Facebooked me. Messaged me and demanded that.
Did he do a Facebook Live of him shoving it in?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was a GIF.
I was wondering why it was kind of greasy.
It's a GIF that's hot on Giphy these days.
Yeah.
He demanded, he's like, oh, hey guys, you got to do this beer right away. You got to drink it super, super fresh. So today,
Yeah, be sure you don't let it sit.
let me just see how low my voice can go. And you need to go do this beer right away, guys.
Drink it as soon as you get it. As soon as Kit pushes it out, be sure you consume
Tiny
it.
Lister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today I went over and I retrieved this beer. It was ejected straight from a vending machine from Kit's anus. He has that much control. He kept the others in his butt for a while, but he was able to rotate them in his butt.
That's
shoot
good.
them out like almost like one of those
Seems
T-shirt
like
guns.
the warmth of the lower intestine doesn't keep the beer, at ideal temperature. But
Well,
whatever.
you say that, but Washington was a big fan of blood warmth for his
That's
beer.
true.
So
that's to brew it though, not to store.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. But maybe I don't know. I've never felt directly inside Kit's ass.
Yeah.
Could be
Until
really cold.
today? Yeah.
Could be cold as ice. Maybe it was the original Yeti. Kit's ass.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Maybe it was Washington's. Maybe that was his cooler back in the day.
That's what he's known as. Yeah.
Maybe he used, a forefather's ass to stuff his beer. Maybe it was one
Maybe
of
it was Kit's great grandfather. Yeah.
Maybe it was like John Yeti back in the day. One of our original signing forefathers.
Very true.
It's entirely possible. We don't know these things, but they could be true.
We're not stating that they are true, but we're also not saying they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure, but the evidence lends a strong possibility to the fact
that it's possible
that one of Kit's ancestors had a Yeti butt.
That it's very possible.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. So today we're talking about Wylam, who comes from Newcastle upon Tyne. So many confusing names in Britain.
Yeah.
So they're from Newcastle upon Tyne, Tyne and Ware, England.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Tyne and Ware, I'm assuming that's a county. I don't know. I don't know what England has. I don't know. Nobody can ever know
counties?
these things.
I don't know.
They have counties, states, provinces, regions.
They have a country? I don't know.
Domains?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a feudal system over there.
It's like Brexit or something, right?
Yeah. Sure. It's all Brexit. We're so dumb. So dumb. But, they're in Newcastle, which is probably, I'm guessing, affiliated with the Newcastle Brown Ale back in the day.
Boddingtons?
Boddingtons.
Wait, that's a different thing.
They're from Boddington, Newcastle upon Tyne. But I'm assuming they're associated with the Newcastle beer.
Right.
I don't know for a fact, but just like a forefather Yeti butt, it's entirely possible.
Yeah, very possible.
But today we're talking about Wylam. They are from Newcastle also. They are a microbrewery, and Stefan got this for us, and like I said, he demanded we drink this right away. It is a...
Cousin to Scott Wylam.
Exactly, absolutely. He demanded we drink this. This is an IPA. He said we have to drink it fresh. If you don't drink it within 2 days, you're dead to me.
Yeah.
And the beer will expire, and you'll be.
But what would that really mean to us? I don't know. If we're dead to him, who cares? Whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Untapped lists this as a DIPA.
Yes.
I also have seen it described as a Northeast IPA, New England IPA.
Their own site listed as a DIPA.
But
so I'm going to go with that.
I don't know. It's very controversial.
Not if they're claiming it on their own as a DIPA.
But the internet tells me it could be a New England IPA.
No, well, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that somebody has morphed this into a New England IPA.
Somebody.
It was a DIPA.
Somebody could be George Washington or Wylam themselves.
Yeah.
Scott Wylam.
Maybe it was Scott Wylam, yeah.
I mean, they're the only ones.
But I'm saying their official description on the site is what I pulled here, and it says this is a super DIPA.
I mean, okay, right here on Untappd, right? I'm looking at Untappd,
Yeah.
and this is a post from Joe S., not a real name, from Derwent Water, and also not a real name of a town.
It's not a real place, so
And
you can't trust that.
It says on the category description here, IPA Imperial New England. Again, another one from Rebecca E., not a real person, from Churchill Arms. I guess it was just named after Churchill's arms.
Yeah.
He's
That's what the whole town
really
looks like.
known just for his arms.
Yeah.
He had huge biceps and forearms.
Oh, yeah. He really worked out.
Yeah, Rebecca E.'s Imperial New England. So I don't know. These are not wild assumptions on my part. This is the internet telling me this.
Well, I'm just going with what their official description is.
We'll go with DIPA.
Which is a DIPA, yeah. It doesn't really matter, though, does it?
Or does it?
No.
They might get one less thumb for not being a true DIPA.
That may be true.
So the official description for the Midnight Train to Byker DIPA. Now, I will say I prefer the Untappd description of this beer because it's a little longer. And if you really want to, you could karaoke this to the...
Midnight Train to Georgia?
God, you just ruined my bit.
Yeah.
God, now
I can just read your mind. I know where you're going.
I know. Yeah, you could
because it's very hard to figure that out from the name.
It is.
It's only because we have a connection. Yeah.
This does feel like the name. I'm assuming Byker is a town.
Yeah.
In somewhere in England, and
spelled with a Y. It feels like very British.
I was gonna say, it feels not only that. It feels like Welsh. They like to use like 53 Y's in every word.
Ooh, Byker with a Y, not an I, because I'm super cool.
Yeah, it's the occasional vowel. Look at us.
Yeah.
We're hipster millennial parents.
Yeah.
We like to give our names.
Ooh, we named this in like the year 1200, but we're still super hipster millennial.
Yeah. Oh, we're so millennial. We're so hipster. We used to like to use phonographs now.
Yeah.
We have twirly mustaches. Look at us spelling Byker. It should have been like named after like a biker, like Sons of Anarchy. Should have been made with bits of really Charlie Hunnam.
Absolutely,
for that authentic British flavor. But no.
Yeah.
So yeah, their official description could be sung karaoke of Midnight Train to Georgia. They kept dreaming. That's someday they'd make an Imperial Dip, a Super Dip. Yeah, it took a while to get that far. They sure found out the hard way. The dreams don't quickly come true. They scored all the hops, and that's enough of me singing.
Yeah,
and loaded malts on top of their car, bought a one-way ticket back to the life they once knew. Oh, yes, they did. They said they would. They was brewing that Midnight Train to Byker. Midnight Train to Byker. They said you will find 30 grams of hops per liter to blow your mind. Now, I don't know what a gram is. I don't know what a liter is.
Yeah. You don't know what a liter is, yeah.
That sounds like a made-up unit of measurement to me.
How close is that to a, true, real measurement like a gallon?
Exactly. Something nice and American
or a quart.
Is what I want. Yeah. I don't know what a gram is. I'm assuming that's talking about 30 phonographs worth of hops.
I know what the cracker is. I don't know what the unit of measurement is.
Now, I've heard of liters. Liter. I don't know what a liter is. Litre. That sounds like some made up BS to me.
That sounds like spelling biker with a Y.
That sounds like that typical Welsh spelling to me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have a Y in that word.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's a really amazing. It's a super stunning fact. But yeah, so been described as a DIPA, been described as a New England IPA. We will find out for ourselves when we put on our detectivating beer hats. Can't say it. God. Losing blood and losing mind over here.
Yeah. So the rating's not bad for this.
Not bad at all.
Beer Advocate, being a domestic rating system, does not have a rating for this. But Rate Beer, 96 overall, 85 in the very controversial, what style is it? but it is rated
the
85.
unstyled style, yes.
Untapped, very high rating at 4.22, but only on 1,483 reviews.
Well, they are a microbrewery.
That's
a
true.
regional brewery.
No, I'm just saying, obviously, easier to get a higher rating on less reviews.
Well, sure.
Unless everybody hates it.
That's some great mathing from you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, we're going to go with the Imperial IPA for now. And the appearance on this one now, the
BJCP does not have a New England IPA style anyway. So
that's really surprising.
yeah, at least the 2015 version that I can find online.
Oh, well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you have to fight. You have to get their. They don't publish them on the website just as HTML pages. You have to get like the giant PDF now, which is
that sounds
stupid.
very boring. Yeah.
So the can itself, Stefan sent it to us in a can, and it's an interesting can. I don't know how to describe the can other than it's
Aluminum.
It's black and yellow aluminum, but no, it's got like a guy. I can't really tell what this guy is. It looks like an old grandpa, and he's in some sort of Red Hill mining town. It looks like a roller coaster behind him.
It just has like yellow flooring.
It's got yellow flooring. It
Yeah.
looks like a manufacturing or an apartment building or something.
Yeah.
He's walking on a yellow field of urine.
And there's like a roller coaster to the moon behind him.
Yeah, a roller coaster to the moon. And like there's a portal, a squiggly portal in the sky.
But then the roller coaster ends in like a Star Wars Millennium Falcon or something. I can't
And
really tell what that is.
There's a clock on a mailbox and some kids on a cloud.
Somebody was super high when they made this can.
And I guess there's a little bit of a train here. Like the train apparently is only 2 feet long.
Yeah.
And it's on a roller coaster track. This is a very weird can.
Very
but
weird can, yes.
I'll give it this, just based on its color scheme, it stands out. Yellow and
very
black.
much, yeah.
Yellow, black, and silver. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and
Yeah.
yellow.
Also says Imperial IPA on the can. So
You know,
Imperial IPA
again,
description works.
Again, as our government likes to declare, fake news.
Yeah. Well, this is the British government.
But I can see why somebody would think, just looking at this beer,
Yeah.
I can see why somebody would think that it is a New England IPA just because it looks like a New England IPA.
And speaking of appearances,
Speaking of, the color can range, according to the BJCP, from golden amber to medium reddish copper. This one is very golden.
oh yeah,
Almost, it's so yellow, it is almost just in the sunlight, which I will not allow Dustin to have in this
Yeah.
room. It's almost as yellow as the can itself.
or as the sun.
Or as the... No, there's no sun.
You just said the sun.
I only have artificial... This entire property is domed.
Oh, okay.
This is all fluorescent lighting.
Well, your fake light outside looks like
Yeah.
the sun.
Oh, that's strive for realness, but it's not real sun. I mean, I don't want you to get the wrong impression here. We don't like sun here. We don't like vitamin D.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're all geodesic domes here. So the color can range from golden amber to medium reddish copper. Some versions can have an orangish tint. Should be clear, although unfiltered dry hop versions may be a bit hazy. And I would say that this one is quite hazy.
Oh yeah.
It is so hazy, as we noted in our last episode. We judge all clarity by can we see each other through the beer.
Which we cannot.
I cannot see you through this beer, so this is quite hazy.
Looks kind of like a milkshake IPA or something. Actually,
I would say it almost looks like a New England IPA.
yeah. Well, yeah.
I would
It
almost
does look
say.
like it. Yeah.
I would almost say. Now, aroma should be a prominent to intense hop aroma that can be derived from American, English, and or noble varieties, although a citrusy hop character is almost always present. Can be resinous, grassy, although this is not absolutely required. Can have some clean malty sweetness in the background, and fruitiness from the hops can be detected.
Now, see, to me, the aroma is very much not an overpowering one, but it is very much a DIPA aroma.
See, to me, I have to take a big old schnozzy whiff. Smells like a New England IPA to me.
Yeah, but you're clogged,
I'm not, but you're right. You're not wrong in that. But
so you're not getting all the subtle notes.
I'm not. But I'm telling you, this smells just like other New England IPAs I've had. To me, there's a distinct difference between
To me, it's very piney.
other DIPAs. It's not piney.
I think it is. I definitely think it is.
I disagree. I smell a lot of like.
It's not juicy, or I mean, I know
You don't smell it. It's so juicy.
Yeah,
It's so juicy. It's moist.
I don't get that. I get more of a standard dry hop IPA or like piney smell.
It's as juicy as a fresh wound in the Revolutionary War. Like George Washington just cut open a soldier to make his beer. This is how juicy this one smells.
Well, you know what? We'll find that out in the next one, which
Did it-
is mouthfeel, flavor, and taste.
We're not going to find out because we're just going to stop there.
Okay, well, we'll just debate it. Well, it'll be a debate that's never resolved.
But mouthfeel should be smooth, medium, light to
sleuthy.
medium body, or sleuth.
Yeah.
No harsh hop-derived astringency, although you can have medium to medium high carbonation. and can be slightly drying. The hop flavor should be strong and complex and can reflect the use of, as I said, American English and or noble hop varieties. Can be high to absurdly high in the bitterness, and it should have a malt backbone that is quite representative of to sort of balance out the hop character.
Right. Oak is inappropriate. Wouldn't expect oak.
Yeah. No oaky afterbirth here.
Yeah. Lingering bitterness, I would expect from a DIPA. Usually present in the aftertaste, but should not be harsh. That depends on the DIPA.
I need you to take a swig of this beer right now.
That's the plan.
Because I'm telling you right now, this is a New England IPA.
Well, before I even drink this...
This is straight out of Mount Vernon.
Before I even drink this, though, this is a British beer. So are they going to call it a New England IPA?
No, but...
There you go. Do they recognize New England considering they're old England?
Well, that you have an excellent point. We are still the colonies over here, according to the Brits. That is an excellent point. But they did recognize New England back in the day. They just didn't recognize this as a country.
When Washington brewed beer and whipped their ass with it, they eventually had to.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, legally speaking, but figuratively speaking, do they recognize this? I don't know.
Now, I will give you, it does have a juicy flavor to it, but it does have an intense hop flavor too.
Yeah, but that isn't.
So it's like it's kind of like a mix of the two.
But there's nothing preventing a New England IPA from having a hoppy.
They tend to be smoother and juicier though than this. They don't tend to have this much harsh. In my experience,
I don't know about that.
How many of you had? Because I've only had like 2 or 3.
I've had like at least 0.25 of one.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So I'm very well versed.
Maybe your palate's more versed
but
than
the New
mine.
England IPAs I've had, like this is very well representative of that style.
Or representative, like you said.
It's a new American contraction here in the colonies. Representative.
Yeah.
It is a representative of a New England IPA. This is firmly ensconced in the New England IPA category.
Right. Well, they don't recognize it as such. That's all I can
Because
tell
we're
you.
the colonies.
Yeah.
So it is colony.
It's a colony New England IPA.
It's a New England
It's a British
colony
double
IPA.
IPA that's kind of juicy.
Right. I mean, technically, aren't all beers juicy? They are liquidy. They're
liquidy, but
all beers are moist.
they're not juicy though. Juicy is like a berry type flavor.
That's true.
They don't all have that, but this does have an element of that.
This is it's a very, as IPAs go.
Yeah.
It's not bubbly. It's very thick. Mm-hmm. It's extremely moist. Mm-hmm. It's so juicy, it might as well be a juicy fruit. It's an explosion of flavor in your mouth.
It's pretty juicy. Yeah.
It's very hoppy. It's
Yeah.
very hoppy. Very.
Well, I have to tell you, I was misled by the brewery itself, calling them a double IPA.
Well, now that you did remind me of the fact that they don't recognize us as a country. We are still just the colonies.
Yeah.
They still think that we, bow and scrape to the queen, and we don't.
Right.
Damn hell, we don't.
Right.
We have
Our
soldiers.
overlords are not a baby and
That's right.
and an old lady.
That's right.
It's just not our thing.
That's right. We don't celebrate some queen.
Right. To quote Ron Swanson.
Their tin
yeah.
hat.
Right.
No, we make our beer with the blood of freshly dead soldiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's how we take our temperatures in this country, and we declared our independence and made New England a proper country.
We make our beer based on soldiers dying in the battlefield.
That's right.
And their temperature of their blood.
America, fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Brits, they all go line up. We do guerrilla warfare and beat their ass. I mean, that's what happens.
Exactly.
And that's
Today, to this day,
Yeah.
Brits are known for just standing in line in the battlefield.
it's really weird. They still do the same thing.
They go fight Al
Bright
Qaeda.
red coats.
That's right. Al Qaeda,
Yeah.
they wear the red coats in the desert. They stand in the line. They get their muskets out, and they're still firing that way.
Yeah.
Very antiquated system.
It's really weird, yeah.
But they pride themselves on tradition.
They did not learn from losing this battle. They continue to do that.
But they're all about tradition.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Absolutely.
Not the lives of your soldiers. They don't care
Tradition,
about that.
yeah.
It's tradition.
Exactly.
Tradition over practicality.
There you go. So compared to other New England IPAs, we'll go ahead and just throw it in that style. We're in the colonies, right? I mean, we're in the colonies now.
Yeah, we're allowed to throw it in.
So we're going to call it a New England IPA. I don't care what they call it.
Yeah, I don't care what they call it either.
How do you compare it to others like E-Juice and some other ones that have come out around here?
I think this is considerably smoother than most New England IPAs I've had. To me, it is a very well-balanced representation of what the sort of floral, spicier, oakier afterbirth versions of previous New England IPAs, like earlier generations, Forefather IPAs, George Washington New England IPAs, Mount Vernon IPAs, and our West Coast brothers. This is a smoother version of that. It's way more malty than if you haven't had a New England IPA for some reason.
Yeah.
It's way more malty, and
they're still not as prominent as regular IPAs. So I can see people not.
I'm saying if you haven't had one, it's way more malty, hazy, malty, and juicy. Mm-hmm. It's got a juicy bottom on it for sure. I think it's a much better representation than most I've had out there.
It's very nice. It's very smooth. It's got a little bit of pine kick, but not too much. That's the double IPA angle of it. I think a lot of Northeastern IPAs that we've had, or New England IPAs we've had, are probably generally based on single IPAs and not doubles. So this one's going to have a little bit more kick. But overall, yeah, I mean, like an E-Juice or something's a little bit smoother, but this is comparable if E-Juice did a DIPA instead of doing a single IPA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does very much fit in the New England IPA category. They very much misled me. They need to acknowledge that America exists. Finally, in the year 2018, if England will admit that the United States exists.
If it's going to take the Midnight Train to the Welsh spelling Byker, then sure. Finally acknowledge that we are not just colonies anymore.
Right, exactly. Or just at least acknowledge we're colonies.
The reason you might like this is because you're a big Mosaic fan, and this does have Mosaic hops. This has Mosaic Cryo, which I wonder if this means they're like freezing them and shipping it over and
I don't know.
Doing
That's
the
a good
whole
question.
Ted Williams cryo head procedure.
I wish I knew about beer more.
I've never heard of cryo hops. But, I mean, it makes sense. They do it to fish. Why not? Why not hops? Mosaic Cryo, Simcoe Cryo, and then two terms that evoke a very different meaning to me, at least, and that's Citra and Chinook BBC. Now, in my world, that means BBC means something entirely different. Maybe
British Broadcasting Company?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah. I thought you meant some weird sex act.
Oh, no, God, where does your mind go? No. Exactly what I was thinking of is my adherence to the colonies, the British Broadcasting Company. Yes, the BBC. That's all it means to me.
That can't mean that. I mean, it can't be that, right?
No, of course not. No, they're talking about the sex act.
Yeah.
We're talking about British Broadcasting.
Yeah, exactly.
BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Three.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
I didn't know there was a sex act associated with that.
I didn't either. I mean, where are these guys going? What is up with Wylam and their sex acts? God.
I don't know. Very sexy town. Everyone's always doing it.
Yes, Newcastle, such a sexy town, I'm sure. I'm sure it's like the
I mean, Byker. Yeah, Byker. They're just having sex there all the time.
Byker or Newcastle, they could both be very sexy
we have
towns.
A Y, so we They're a bunch of Jareds over there.
Exactly. So, ratings.
So for me, as a DIPA, as they self-describe, I don't think it quite hits all the functions of its typical DIPA. It's too malty, it's too hazy, it's too juicy for a standard American DIPA.
Right. Because we can't see each other through the beer.
Right.
And that's the most important factor.
Is that a typical DIPA in England? I don't know. That's across the pond. I don't go across the pond. Yeah. I live here. So I'm going to base it on the DIPAs I know.
We don't even dip our toes in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, that's too close to Europe.
That's too close to Europe. That's right.
So we can't go over there.
We wear MAGA hats and we run the other way.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it doesn't fit like a Russian River, Pliny. It doesn't fit a Green Flash. It doesn't fit some of those very typical West Coast.
Ones, is what you're thinking.
Yeah, West Coast double IPA, harsh pine, which I love. It doesn't fit that. However,
you love pine so much that when we go to a pine forest, you will cut down a fresh sapling and just gnaw on it.
I just gnaw on it all day. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all I need. I don't even need the beer. I just need the actual
green wood.
Green wood. Absolutely. Yeah. So in that category, it's not as good as those to me for what I would expect as a beer that is more in the New England IPA category. So I compare it to something like we've had at I believe Intrinsic, E-Juice, something like that. I think it's a very good representation of that, actually. And in fact, I enjoy the fact it has a little bit more piney element that those usually don't. They usually are very malty, very smooth, at least in my limited experience. I'll admit, I haven't had a ton of New England IPAs, but the 4 or 5 I've had...
Because we don't get a lot here.
Yeah, but the 4 or 5 I've had, including... I even tried the one Sam Adams came out with, which is very spare. But, yeah, I just...
Happy birthday, Sam Adams.
Yeah, it is.
And Merry Christmas while we're at it.
Sam Adams has some good beers, but that's not one of them. And they're in New England, so they should be doing it, but they're not. But in any case, yeah, I think it's actually a really cool, different IPA, New England IPA style or a New England IPA beer than we normally get around here. They should just go ahead, if they do ever distribute here, which they probably won't because they don't recognize us as a country.
But
if
they did...
Yeah, well, I think it's more the first thing than the second.
I'm guessing if they're going to choose anywhere, they're not going to pick Dallas, Texas to start distributing to.
I don't mean here, but if they go to the U.S. at all, then they should call it a New England IPA. I don't know how well that goes over in the UK. Probably not that well. Nobody cares about that there. But yeah, it's very much an American New England IPA style.
Right.
It's a good representation of that style. And I'll go ahead and give them a pass since they're a microbrewery that doesn't recognize the United States, and go ahead and put them in that category for them and say, as far as that goes, I would give them 28 thumbs up and 3 sideways and none down.
That's a bold rating right there. And especially since you're someone who calls yourself Mr. IPA.
Very true.
When you're not dressed in a whale suit of a burlap sack.
I'm kind of an IPA guy.
You're kind of an IPA
That's who
guy.
I am.
You are. And I'm not an IPA guy, but I got to say, I really enjoy this beer. It is refreshing. It is...
You don't hate IPAs, though.
No, I don't hate them.
I think you and I are kind of the same on stouts and IPAs. I like stouts.
You call yourself Mr. IPA.
Yeah.
I call myself Mr. Bourbon
Stout.
Barrel Stout. It's a very long name.
Yeah.
And sometimes BBC Stout.
And
sometimes I go for
We
it.
both like both categories, but just one of us embraces one more than the other.
Sometimes we trade names, we trade hats. Sometimes you wear half of one hat, and I wear the other half. Somebody else, we share a hat.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Or underwear, who knows?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, this is what I want more IPAs to be. Because to me, I like this flavor palette better.
And as IPA guy, I will say, I do like the milkshake and New England IPA styles, too.
Yeah.
I like it all. I like the really harsh, piney stuff. I like the softer, juicier stuff, too. As long as it has that hot flavor, I enjoy it.
You like it soft and juicy.
Absolutely, yeah.
To me, this is what I prefer more than an IPA, is something a little less harsh. Because we went one direction, America Fuck Yeah, with the palate wreckers. Feels like we pulled back a little bit on that in the last few years.
Yeah.
We're not
Although
quite as...
They still exist plenty.
No, I'm not saying they don't exist. It feels like that's not the goal we're striving for anymore, is not to wreck your palate all the time. To me, this is something I would prefer more out of an IPA, is to be a little more subtle, a little more smooth. I don't like palate wreckers on a hot day. I like them maybe on a somewhere between winter and a summer day, like a nice
maybe like a
spring
midnight
day.
train to Byker.
Maybe on a midnight train to Byker.
Yeah.
But this is very good. This is something I would enjoy drinking in the summer because it's light and refreshing. It's kind of lemony, it's kind of citrusy.
Yeah, the citrus is nice.
This is a great breakfast beer. I'll tell you that. If you want to replace, if you're not up for screwdrivers,
get rid of the mimosa.
Get rid of the
pour
mimosa.
One of these, yeah.
Get yourself a Wylam Midnight Train to Biker. Replace the Y with an I, like an American, like a proper American.
I'll spell it correctly with an I.
Because this is a very good breakfast beer.
Right.
This would go perfect with a whole plate of pancakes, some waffles.
Sure.
Not Belgian. We don't want the fucking Belgians.
No,
here.
no Belgians. No.
American proper waffles.
And eat breakfast anywhere but in the UK. Because UK food sucks in general. So eat it somewhere else.
Nobody wants blood pudding. No,
it's terrible. It's all terrible.
Get you a fucking American breakfast like a proper magnet.
They have some good ciders. They got some good beers. They don't have good food.
No. They can do
food
fish and chips, right? If you want fish and chips, go there.
Thank God they have an Indian influence now that actually makes decent food there. Because their native food, terrible.
They can toss out a proper curry now.
Yeah. Bangers and mash, terrible. Throw that out.
Fuck you. God.
Yeah.
But no, I like this beer a lot. This is a better representation than most New England IPAs out there that I've had.
Even though they don't claim to be one.
Even though they don't claim that, I'm going to put them in that category.
Yep.
This is where they properly belong. I'm going to slot them as I should. And I'm going to say they are doing a New England IPA better than most
New England IPA?
breweries.
Sorry, you slurred that a little bit.
Well, I've had a few high ABV beers today. So they are doing New England IPAs better than most New England breweries. Put it that way. I guarantee
definitely better than Sam Adams.
I haven't had most of them, but I guarantee you they're doing better than Sam Adams.
You should try the Sam Adams to compare.
They're doing a better version of that malty, hazy, thick IPA than most American breweries.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to give them like a proper Italian. I'm going to give them 47 thumbs up.
Nice.
And an extra thumb up for just being awesome.
Wow.
48 thumbs up.
Wow. Nothing sideways, nothing down.
Nothing sideways, nothing down.
Wow.
Just 48 proper thumbs up.
Disclaimer, we have not had most New England IPAs to really say they're doing it better than Americans, but we'll just do it versus the ones we know, which is like 3.
Well, thanks for listening to yet another episode of Brew Bloods. If you're not subscribed to the show, you should be. It's absolutely free, and you can subscribe anywhere fine podcasts can be found. Through Apple Podcasts, Google Music, Spotify, or any podcast app out there. Above all, please tell a friend about us. We'd really appreciate it. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us as @BrewBloods on all the social networks, or email us at brewbloodsshow@gmail.com. That's brewbloodsshow@gmail.com. So for everyone here at Brewbloods, this is Mark saying Prost.